Two people are about to sit down at the same lunch table. Same restaurant, same city, same company they've both worked at for 10 years. They're going to order the same thing, talk about the same things they always talk about, and split the bill exactly in half. But here's what one of them knows that the other doesn't. One of them has $134,000 they haven't touched. The other one has a credit card that charges interest while they sleep. This is the story of how that happened. Not through luck. Not through a raise the other person didn't get. Not through an inheritance or a second job or a viral side hustle. Through one decision, made on a Tuesday evening in October 2015. That took less than 3 minutes. Let's go back. It is September 2015. Same Monday morning. Two people walk into the same building, take the elevator to the same floor, sit down at their new desks. Same job title. Same first day paperwork. Same salary. $62,000 a year. After taxes, $4,100 lands in each of their accounts every month. They are both 26. Student loans, car payments, rent that takes up more than they'd like. Neither of them has anything saved. Neither of them feels behind. Everyone around them is the same. From the outside, these two lives are going to look identical for a long time. They are not identical. They open a new browser tab, log into their bank, and move $400 into a separate account before the month has a chance to absorb it. Not because they have extra money, they don't. Because they've decided the $400 leaves first. Before the groceries, before the dinner out, before the Thursday night that turns into something expensive. The $400 is already gone by the time any of that happens. They adjust. They don't miss it. The month fits itself around what remains. Person B reads the same articles, knows the same logic. But September turns out to be expensive, and October is coming. And by November, the plan is dissolved into the background of a life that always seems to need slightly more than it has. The $400 stays. The month finds it. The month always finds it. That is the only difference between them and month one. It doesn't feel like anything at all. 2016. Person A's account has $5,200 in it. Not dramatic, not life-changing, but completely intact. In March, a flat tire costs $340. Person A pays it from the account, replaces the money over the next few months, and the incident closes without leaving a mark on anything else. The emergency existed and ended. That's it. Person B's flat tire goes on a credit card. Also $340. By June, there's $1,400 on the card. The tire, a few other months that ran short, the way things add up when there's no buffer underneath. The minimum payment is $28 a month. It's manageable. It barely registers. But it's there, and it's charging 22% interest. Every month, approximately $58 in interest charges appear on that statement. Not from spending anything new, just from existing, just from the balance sitting there. $58 that doesn't buy food, doesn't pay rent, doesn't build anything. It disappears into a number that belongs to someone else. The gap between them at the end of 2016 is still small enough that you could miss it. You'd have to look at a spreadsheet to find it. But it's compounding, quietly, the way things do when nobody is watching. 2018, 3 years in. Here is where it starts to matter. Person A has $19,000 in a low-cost index fund. They opened the account after reading one article and haven't checked it more than a dozen times since. They didn't time the market. They didn't pick stocks. They moved $400 a month into a broad index fund and stopped thinking about it. The S&P 500 did what it has averaged for the last 50 years, roughly 7% annually after inflation. and the $400 compounded into something that no longer resembles $400. Person B has $1,100 in savings and $3,200 in credit card debt across 2 cards. The $1,100 came from a good spring. The debt came from the summers, the winters, the flat tires, the months that always seemed to cost slightly more than the income. The interest rate on both cards is 22%. That's not predatory. That's just average. That's what the standard consumer card has charged in the United States for the last several years. That year, every major financial publication runs the same story. Americans in their late 20s are dangerously behind on savings. The average is below $10,000. Both Person A and Person B read these articles. One of them has $19,000. One of them has $1,100. Neither of them feels like they're doing anything unusual. 2020. The world stops. In March, Person A's investment account drops 34% in 3 weeks. On paper, they lose $11,000. They look at the number once. They have 6 months of expenses in a separate account they haven't touched. The crash doesn't reach their rent. It stays on a screen, falling, then recovering. And by August, the account is higher than it was in February. They never sold a single share. Person B loses their job in April. 22 million Americans file for unemployment in the first 2 weeks of that spring, the fastest collapse in recorded U.S. labor history. Person B has $800 in savings. The rent is $1,400. The credit cards go up by $4,000 over 3 months. The job comes back in July. The debt doesn't leave with it. This is where the gap stops being something you'd need a spreadsheet to see. 2022 Person A walks into their manager's office and asks for a 12% raise. They don't need it. That's why they ask for it the way they do. No urgency. Nothing riding on the outcome. They get 9%. They redirect the entire increase into the investment account without changing how they live. Person B asks for a raise too. There's $7,800 in credit card debt. The desperation doesn't show on their face, but it lives in the phrasing. In the moment, they accept the first number offered without countering. They get 4%. It disappears into the minimum payments. 2025. Same salary, same starting point. Person A has $134,000 in an index fund. No debt. 8 months of expenses saved. In 2023, they left for a different company. Waited 6 weeks between jobs. No panic. Took the role because it was the right move. New salary, $91,000. Person B has $4,200 in savings and $9,100 in credit card debt. Still at the same company. Not because it's a great fit, because the math every time is the same. What if there's a gap? What if it doesn't work? The cushion required to absorb that risk doesn't exist. So the risk never gets taken. The difference between $134,000 and $4,200 is not talent. Not income, not luck. Close it is September 2025. 2 people, same restaurant, same bill split in half, same conversation they've had 100 times. One of them has $134,000 they haven't touched since 2015. One of them has a credit card that added $167 in interest this month without buying a single thing. They look the same. They order the same thing. They stopped being the same on a Tuesday evening in October 2015, when one of them opened a tab and moved $400 before the month could find it. That was the decision. That was all it was.